Welcome to The Bar, your source for all things weightlifting, where we believe there's strength in every story. We're your hosts, Jess Roebuck Laney and Aaron Holtz, weightlifters, coaches and British weightlifting technical officials. To The Bar is partnered with Lu Xiaozhen UK. So don't forget to like, subscribe and follow so you never miss an episode. And check out our website for Lu Xiaozhen UK gear, official To The Bar merchandise and our professional media and photography services. The links are in the captions. And now for today's episode. Enjoy. So, welcome to The Bar. Season 3, believe it or not, and episode 1. So we've been away for a while. And a new intro. We have lots to talk about. And there is, obviously some stuff on the intro that we'll mention. So shop and things like that. But welcome back.
Thanks. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So usually I get a little bit of a gap after welcome to the bar. So thank you very much.
Yeah,
thank you very much. So it's been... So we do our seasons English Championship to English Championships, don't we?
Yeah.
Just purely because that's how the first episode fell. It would make more sense for it to be British to British, but hey-ho. And so now we're in the start of April, so we've had 3 months off, which I think we needed, really. We were... We had a lot going on.
Yeah.
So the bar has grown quite significantly in the last year.
Yeah.
So although we've had 3 months off the podcast, we have not had 3 months off of To The Bar. So there's lots and lots of stuff that we've been getting up to.
Yeah, indeed. Where to start? What was the last thing we did?
The last thing we did was the Talent ID comp. Or the Arnolds, or I mean, again, you start me off and I'll start rolling. We should probably group them together, I think. So we can start with the BWL stuff.
Yep.
I think because we've been really fortunate in the last sort of 3 months that we've been able to do 3 different competitions with the performance team at BWL as technical officials, so referees primarily. We did the England testing day for the Commonwealth selection squad, which was pretty epic.
It was amazing.
We did the performance pathway day, and we've just most recently done the talent ID. What do they call them? They call them not clubs.
Well, it was they pitched against the armed
UK
forces, didn't they? So
yeah,
it was sort of a
mem. I mean, less the competition and more the because squad training days, training camps. They call them training camps. So it was a talent ID training camp that had a competition built into the afternoon, and so all of those were over at Nottingham Sports Centre. So we've got the performance centre over there for BWL, and I mean,
it's an amazing venue, isn't it?
Yeah,
it really is.
Half the time I only agree to go so I get to look at the kit. Because it's incredible. Just the line of Eleiko racks in there sort of makes me want to go back to uni.
Yeah.
But they've all been really fantastic experiences, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, it's very, very different. So if we maybe start at the performance pathway, because I like to leave the talent ID, because I think there's lots to talk about with that one.
Mm-hmm.
But the performance pathway, we had the likes of Josh Hutton.
Yep.
Emily Campbell.
Yeah.
Emily Campbell.
Yeah.
It was lovely seeing her lift again.
Yeah, it's nice to see her back on the platform.
Yeah.
Doing her bow.
Yeah.
Wow, I love seeing her lift.
Yeah. Jasper Hilton.
Jasper, Sarah.
Ramiro. Cyril.
Yeah.
So it was great seeing them. They obviously had an amazing time. I think we posted a couple of videos that we sort of managed to take, and the athletes had taken some themselves as well. So it's incredible for, you sort of think that not that they play it safe, but it's not a massive competition arena sort of setting, is it? And yet they absolutely came out and, records.
Yeah, they did. It wasn't quite what I was expecting, because when we were invited up there, we were the guise was that it was part of the performance pathway, right? So to get onto a performance pathway, you have to be at a certain level. You have to be maintaining that level, or at least trying to. Obviously, if you're injured, they're not just going to kick you off the performance pathway. But so the guys was that the athletes had to make 2 lifts in the snatch and 2 lifts in the clean and jerk. That was the aim. So they didn't necessarily have to go big or go home. It was more about technique, and it was filmed. The performance was filmed so that the coaches could go away and essentially analyze their performance on the platform, and they had the velocity meter on the bar so that they could track, where were they making the most force or power, or what accessories did they need to program for them. So I didn't necessarily go into it thinking typical comp, they're all going to come out and we're essentially probably going to see some misses, because people do try and you try, don't you? Once you've got your first lift, you put weight on, like you push it. That's the whole point. I wasn't expecting to see massive things. I was just expecting to see consistency. But we did see massive things and consistency.
Yeah.
It was very few, no lifts, very few.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was, the performance day was great.
Yeah, I think one of my highlights was Cyril, because we don't really, I don't really get to see him lift that much, apart from he posts his some of the lifts on Instagram, and always nice seeing him muscle snatching 100 plus these days. But he's an amazing lifter, especially for. Well, and we've got a post that will be coming out soon on the Instagram for that, which will detail just a tiny bit of what he does, outside of weightlifting.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing for me, is that's why I think he's so amazing, is that he balances. I don't say he balances an adult life as if everybody else isn't an adult, but you really realise when you see these sort of top performing athletes how much they're having to balance. So it's great when we get to see the youth and juniors, but you have to remember they are youth and juniors, and they are still at home, and mum and dad probably still do the shopping, and there's an element to it that I don't think is easier, because they have to work harder to stay in the game, because there's so many more people competing against them. But they don't have to juggle studying, a job, a home, a family. It's different when you see people like that, people like Cyril, Sarah, Emily Campbell, Emily Musk, people like that. You see them perform, and I just find it incredible that they can juggle all those things, and then still Cyril come out and smash those records just randomly on a platform in Nottingham. Well, so that was a privilege for us, I think. And it actually started with us being invited for the England testing day, didn't it?
Yeah.
For the Commonwealths, which again, it was the England squad. They were going to be top notch, weren't they? But it was next level.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a real. I think we both sat there for a minute and had we actually, in a very small way, part of this moment.
Yeah, it was one of those. For those athletes that to get there, but it's also the fact that I'm never going to be on that platform. And I'll be lucky if I can be in the spectator, sort of in the audience watching. So to have a tiny input of that, as part of the
really
whole
special.
GB or Team England setup was pretty amazing.
Yeah, it was special. And then most recently, so I think it was 2 weeks ago, a week ago, we did the talent ID.
Yeah.
So that is what I was referring to earlier, where they do training squads, away day things. How many pelters just done a come with me for a day in the life at camp? That's it. I've lost the word twice. Camp. The talent ID camps, they're called. And so I think they said they'd do them 4 times a year, or they do them maybe even more frequently than that. But the younger end of the athletes that have been identified as having talent for the sport are brought in, and we got to see, even before the competition, we got to see some great stuff, didn't we?
Yeah.
With the
force plates,
force production. See what it's great to see what they're actually doing, because we know they're doing so much. The performance team, they work themselves to the bone, don't they? But to actually just sit back and watch the para athletes were doing it too. So when we first got there, they were all doing the chest one, weren't they? So they were essentially pushing up against a sensor the para athletes at one end and the weightlifting athletes at the other, to see how much force they could create with their core off of a stability ball. To push, and it was fascinating.
What you could hear was just go, 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 go.
Push, 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 push. Yeah. And then we were talking to Matt and a couple of the others there, and they were sort of saying that they use that information to go away and tailor specific programs to target, I don't want to say weaker areas, because none of those kids are weak, but to target areas of improvement. So if they did force for each arm in a snatch position whilst laying face forward on the ground, didn't they? So if one arm was performing slightly under the other, they went away with programs that they could use with their home coaches to improve on that. And then when they come back the next time, they would be retested again. So they're sent away with all this data. They get to see a nutritionist.
It's really interesting because part of that as well was Amy Covey was there, and they have interviews. So they sit down with the performance or the talent ID team. They go through what their troubles are at the moment, with lifting, whether it's got, they have school or work commitments, how they're dealing with that, how the team can then help them,
what their goals are,
tailor their training depending on the needs. So it was really interesting.
It was interesting to see that bit first. So I'm glad we got there early. So we got to see all of that, and then they go over to the hotel that they're staying at, and they get lunch provided as well. And then they came back, and Matt Kioff was saying that usually they just have they have a heavy training session in the afternoon, so like Big Friday, max out, and instead they hadn't been told that it was going to be going on Sport 80. They sort of semi knew it was going to be an in-house competition style, but they didn't realise that refs were coming and it was going to be a Sport 80 style comp. So instead they got on the platform in front of us, which was which was pretty cool. I mean, for us was pretty cool. I don't think they had a clue who we were, but that's fine. And they all did so well. They all did really well. And I think for me some of it is, I've said it to a couple of people over the past few days, is the athletes that you've tracked or that you've been invested in for a while. And for me, one of those is Isaac Bluff.
I was going to mention him.
I saw him lift at the age groups years ago, and I had a conversation with Nigel at the Marshall's table, and that conversation influenced the way I train ever since. And so I followed him for his coaching, because what he'd spoken to me about on the Marshall's table was about the way he coached. So then I went off and followed him on Instagram, thinking his coaching and his coaching style could influence my coaching style, because we were doing our coaching at the time. And then naturally fell to following his son, because he posted his son quite a lot, and watching his journey from 60 kilo snatches to, what did he do, 100, 110, 112. He did a PB attempt, I know that. He did a PB attempt.
Nonchalantly just dropped it behind him. It was pretty
so much force. There was so much power in it. It was unreal.
Just let it go behind him.
And my favourite thing about him was he came to the platform, got to the platform, turned around and threw his phone out of his pocket. And you're like, have you been warming up this whole time with your mobile phone in your shorts pocket? How? I can't lift if the leggings aren't right. Never mind. I can't imagine having my iPhone bashing against my leg. But it's so they've taken up a lot of our time, but in a really great way. I think it's been nice to connect back with weightlifting in that sense.
Yeah, and I think also because when we walked in, I think at the end of last season, I think we had said a few times that we felt that there was a bit of a disconnect between clubs and the governing body, and I still think there is. But I think we're privileged in that we get to see what the governing body does. Like the performance pathway, the talent ID, and I think a lot of the people who pay their membership and turn up to comps don't know this part, which we're hoping will change. So the more we can talk about it and share, the better it is, because when we walked in, it was a bit of one. I mean, we knew there was stuff going on. You always know that there's talent ID, there's pathways for development for kids coming through, or bringing people into the seniors sort of setup. But I think seeing the nutritionist, seeing the fact that they were being interviewed,
physio,
the physio in the corner, the force plate or force production stuff, the detail that went into them investing in the athletes, all of a sudden just went, it was a penny drop. It was like, thank God we've seen this, because I didn't want to get to the end of the season, halfway through the season again, and get, do you know what? I'm so fed up with this disconnect and not really knowing where, what the governing body was doing. Getting to an AGM and thinking, where is this money going? But you can see it now.
Yeah, I think, well, as you said there, I think we're very privileged, and I think then that means that we have a bit of a responsibility to share that, in the sense of we put a lot of time into the sport, and so that means we get to see certain elements of the sport that aren't necessarily visible to the wider public. They're not like gate kept or anything. It's just not everybody is a technical official, and so it's not a free for all in the sense of being able to just walk into that performance centre and see it. But for me, what was really stark was the number of staff.
Yeah.
So when you walked in, the amount of people in the GB talent team T-shirts, it just took me back a bit, and it made me realise that there were two different elements to British weightlifting, and you've got the performance team and everything that they do, and then you've got the governing body, which is competitions and memberships and education and your courses and things. And I think there's even a disconnect between those two, if I'm really honest, because it feels quite a lot like British weightlifting is geared towards a competition. So we're coming up to the British being the next competition or big competition in the calendar, and it feels like that's what British weightlifting is about, the next competition and the next competition. And actually, the other half of British weightlifting isn't. It's actually about growing professional elite athletes to represent our country at European level, international level, potentially Olympic level, and seeing those kids, especially the talent ID kids, and seeing so many boys. I mean, that was fantastic. But seeing them lift and seeing how much BWL was investing in them made me excited about British weightlifting again. Not that I have ever lost excitement for weightlifting, but for British weightlifting, by the end of last season, I was certainly feeling a little bit less enthusiastic, I should say, which I think was probably quite evident, and it is evident in the gap of the podcast and the content. And we've gone off in lots of different directions and done lots of other things, which it's still exciting for us and we'll still talk about, but we were just a bit fed up. And I think seeing all of that renews my excitement, because you're able to see what's coming next, and you're able to look at those kids or look at those younger people on the performance pathway and think, I'm going to get to watch your entire career. And even try and guess, well, not guess, but you can see who's going. You can make a good educated guess if you've been around people long enough within weightlifting as to who might stay the course, or who's got a certain talent, and who you're going to see on big stages. And I think, for me, that was really exciting to get to see them early on and to get to be part of their pathway as well. Again, a part they're probably going to forget and means nothing to them, but they will always mean something to me. And that's what's important.
Yeah, indeed.
So, we did quite a lot with BWL, despite not really doing a lot with BWL. So you might not have seen us at as many competitions. We weren't at books.
It's a shame, but that's where we were instead.
And I wouldn't have had it any other way, to be honest. I was glad that that's what we got to do. So we did those three. And then we've done lots of stuff recently, or I say recently, we've done lots of stuff with our partner, Lou Jiajong. So Luge Armstrong UK. So we branched out into some product photography, which, props to anybody who does product photography, because what on earth? I think we've sort of got it down a little bit now. The product photography we've put out's been all right.
Gave us an excuse to buy some gadgets. Got a smoke machine.
We gave you an excuse to buy gadgets. Bloody smoke machine. I learned a lot about lighting. Who knew? Who knew lights were so important?
Yeah, we went to where was that?
The Royal Photography Society show in London. I don't know where. It was some hotel.
Yeah.
Some posh hotel that you could have just wandered into and done your work from all day. Nobody stopped. It was incredible, but yeah.
Yeah, we learnt a lot about lighting there.
Yeah, props to that place, actually, because I learnt loads. It was like an expo, but they had lectures.
Yeah.
We call them a lecture. And subject matter experts would give lectures, and we went to a couple on product photography. We went to a couple on lighting of subjects, obviously for the media side when we think about the sports photography that we've been doing, and they were really informative.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the one we went to around which camera might be better, I left feeling no wiser.
Even more confused.
Yeah. You're talking to me about two different types of cameras and the pros and cons, and I walked away thinking, I've got even less of an idea now. But otherwise, it was a really good day.
Yeah.
And definitely worth it from an education perspective.
And we brought a drone.
And we got a drone.
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah, we got a drone that we crashed several times at Woodactive.
Yes.
So we also went to Woodactive. Yeah, props to Woodactive for letting us practice with the drone in a little back room there, because the amount of times we crashed, that was unreal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yes, Woodactive was probably the next big thing after all the BWL things.
Yeah. So Nigel Barber, who obviously sort of founder of Woodactive, has really pioneered a lot of the adaptive CrossFit competitions, and really making it visible and plowing a lot of money, personal money, into that.
If you don't know much about Nigel, he is in season 1. I think it's season 1, but it really insightful podcast about his background and how he built Woodactive. So yeah, I would encourage you, just not even for us, but for the sake of hearing Nigel's story, I would head over and listen to that if you haven't already.
Yeah. But so he organised essentially what was, Europe's biggest, or pretty much Europe's biggest CrossFit event, which was called Odyssey.
Odyssey. My hat's around there.
Yeah. And he invited us. So on, when we did the podcast, he said, if you're serious, you have to come and ref.
Yeah.
And we're like, yep. Let's give it a go. And sure enough, he put us down.
Yeah.
And then we got there, and I was absolutely bricking it.
Yeah, I mean,
because it was CrossFit. So I mean,
yeah, and anybody who knows me knows CrossFit is not like I will give everybody that does CrossFit massive props because I couldn't do it, but it's not my thing.
Yeah,
because I couldn't do it. And so the idea that I was going to ref it. I do a push-up and you tell me it's a no rep because my chest doesn't touch the floor. But I don't think a chest has to touch the floor to be a push-up. But apparently in CrossFit it does. So I was very similar in the sense of like...
I don't think lunging you should touch your knee on the floor, but...
God.
Yeah. They gave us clickers. I was like, what's that for?
Well, yeah, what am I doing with the clicker? But what was fantastic was the day before... We had a whole day, didn't we, where all of the refs came together and we went over the movement standards. And we went over the movement standards to such fine detail. It was amazing to see, the things that Nigel had actually created, like the bits of kit that he'd created to make certain movements accessible, which I think is a huge testament to Nigel and to Woodactive as a company, because... he programmed rope climbs. And so to have... it was paired, and it was an adaptive athlete with an able-bodied athlete, and to have some adaptive athletes, if I'm thinking about... is his name Jay? Mm-hmm. Who he's in a wheelchair, but will do the rope climb in a wheelchair faster than anyone I have ever...
Ben.
Jay? Ben. Oh yes, Ben. Sorry. Yeah, he'll do the rope climb in the wheelchair faster than anyone I've seen.
Jaw dropped when he
ever.
just wanged it up there.
It's unreal.
Yeah.
So for him, a rope climb was no drama. But then Jay has got cerebral palsy.
Yeah.
A rope climb was quite difficult. So they did a zombie climb, which was to lie down on the floor and then pull themselves up. And then some wheelchair athletes, Nigel had actually created a clamp that went over the rope, and you could adjust the resistance, and they had to use their arms to pull the rope around a loop. And it was 4 rotations, so the rope was marked, and that mark had to come around 4 times for it to count as one rope climb. And we watched it, and I remember looking at you and being like, Nigel is one evil fucker, because this is not a good day. This is not good.
Yeah.
I just couldn't have done it. How any of those athletes got through that day with that programming, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I was very lucky because the pair that I refed was Abby and her coach, Nat, which was... I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, Abby Wynne-Jones.
Yeah. I had a lot of fun. Abby, who is 2 times CrossFit adaptive. So once she was champion and once she came second. Well, I reckon she should have just been champion anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was a pretty intense day. I'm trying to think what else they did. Cleans. Didn't mind reffing them.
Yeah.
Clean and jerks. They were all right.
Yeah, so
Knew what I was
interesting
doing with
for,
that.
box jumps, or step overs, wasn't it? So for people in wheelchairs, they did running over plates again, which looked evil again.
Yeah,
really
and what was
difficult.
the one? What was the one where some wheelchair athletes and some of the other neuro athletes did, where they walked out? Oh, that was instead of wall walks, wasn't it?
Yes.
And they essentially had to walk out between 2 boxes using their. It was like basically like walking into a plank using your arms on a box. It was pretty full on. But as far as reffing it goes, I had an amazing time.
Yeah.
I really did. It was from learning. I really appreciated the learning day.
Yeah, so that was run by Craig Graham. I just had to get his surname there because I don't want to get that wrong. So if you're ever interested in learning about adaptive, how to coach or be an adaptive coach, get onto his Instagram. But he ran that learning day, didn't he?
Which I think all coaches, again, having just sat in his gym, I feel like all which is alt movement, isn't it?
Yes, alt movement, yeah.
All coaches, so it's not a case of you wanting to be an adaptive coach. It is the fact that if you're a coach, you should be wanting to understand how can I adapt if an athlete comes into my gym, because for us to truly be accessible, we should be able to open that door to anybody and adapt. Yeah. And I think what Craig's done is gone, fuck, okay, I'm going to figure out how to adapt. And he does it with the athletes, doesn't he? He seems to figure things out with them, and he's got a really great way of teaching. I learnt a lot from him. Yeah,
me too.
And from the athletes themselves, you know, in terms of being able to accurately ref what is somebody's limitation, and what I found the most interesting, the most inspiring about that day is the same as any competition really, was that the athletes wanted to be held to such a high standard that when I did no rep, they were like, I no repped Abby at one point, and she said to me, I'd have been really annoyed if you'd given me that. So it was that sort of, I don't know how to explain it, because I feel the same with weightlifting. If I ever was on a platform and I got a lift and I knew I'd pressed it out, I wouldn't, it wouldn't feel to me right to have it. Even though I tell athletes all the time, style it out. Don't shake your head, don't grimace if you think you've pressed out. Style it out and see if you get the whites from the refs. For me personally, if I knew it wasn't a good lift, I wouldn't want it. And so to have to sit down with your athletes before each heat and understand, okay, so dips, Abby has got one arm that doesn't particularly work compared to the other, which is massive. what do ring dips look like for you, Abby?
Yeah.
Tell me what it looks like so that I know what I'm reffing, because I need to know what the lockout looks like. I need to know how your movement patterns work so that I know if there's variance, it's in a rep. But it wouldn't apply to the athlete next to me or the athlete you were reffing. And so it was great. You needed a lot more referees, but it was a really, really good day.
Yeah, I think that's what was terrifying me the most at the start of the learning day, was the idea that I had to know all of the adaptive movements, but you didn't. You get your athletes and you
stay with them. Yeah.
You know those adaptive movements for those athletes, and that was it. Because otherwise, I would have I don't think I would have done it.
If you were sort of running around having to do anyone, that's a bit much. But you stay. We should have had two sets of athletes each, but for some reason we both had athletes that pulled out last minute, so we both ended up with just one pair. But you stay with them all day, so you get to know them. You get to know what their limitations are. You get to know what their splits are. But as a programmer, Nigel is evil.
Yeah.
As a pioneer of adaptive...
Hats off.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I mean, people flew in from America to compete.
And Australia?
Yeah. The goodie bags were better than any goodie bag I've seen at any competition. Yeah. I mean, just for us.
I was going to say, just for the refs.
I didn't expect anything.
Yeah. I've got
I just wanted to turn up and take part. But
protein stuff, powders...
little samples of CBD oil and Doc Spartan hand cream and T-shirts with by Ellis KD and all sorts of stuff, basically. But it was such an amazing 2 days. I was dead to the world afterwards. But that leads me just slightly off tangent, but it does lead me to just plug the fact that British Weightlifting are doing the Adaptive Open again this year. So this is the second time they've done it. And the first time was amazing. And really, really one of those moments for me where I thought this is a prime spot for our sport to commit to being different and not just do a tokenistic, okay, because I think Abby and Nigel had entered the British Open that was paired with Emily Muskett's competition, Lift Me Up.
Yep.
And they'd basically just contacted BWL and said, look, you've said this is an open. Can we come along? And BWL had been forced to go, yeah. And rather than just go, yeah, and quickly come up with something, they came up with something and then developed it into an adaptive open and then have kept it. It wasn't a one-off. So if you're around, if you're able to TO, if you're able to load, if you want to just come down and cheer people on, these people would come and cheer for you. So, I mean, I've never met a group as supportive of each other as that group. Yeah. So, yes.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I think it's in 2 months' time. May, June. Yeah. It's soon anyway. So, yeah, keep your eye out for that.
Yep.
So we did Adaptive. And then I suppose after that was... I feel like we did something before the Arnolds. We must have done, because we've been very busy. But I'm just going to go to the Arnolds anyway, because I feel like that's going to take up most of the conversation. I don't know, guys. Anyway, so yes, we went to the Arnolds. We went to the Arnolds originally with our partners Lu Jiaozhong, UK. Shout out to Shemek and Lu Jiaozhong UK. As we've built our brand alongside Lu Jiaozhong UK a little bit more, so you can actually go onto our website and buy the lifters, buy the shorts, buy the t-shirts, whatever it is you fancy. You can get them from us direct now as well, which is pretty sweet. Big fans of the lifters, even though I didn't really want to be. I wanted to be an Anta fangirl forever, but actually the Lus were
pretty sweet.
Yeah, I haven't took them off since I got them, so it's not a sponsorship deal out of wanting to be sponsored. It's such a legitimate, their gear is good. So yeah, we were originally going along with the partners, and I had submitted a media pass bid on the off chance that they might give us a little lanyard, and they did. So it ended up being a split post where we were supporting with Liu Xiaojun and sort of having conversations with people that had never even heard of weightlifting. And if one more person picked up a shoe and said, "Is this for what, deadlifting?" and I had to explain what weightlifting was to them, I was going to explode. And photography of all the things that were happening at the Arnolds.
Yeah.
Which was plenty, I think.
Yeah, so they had, obviously, the Arnolds, they had bodybuilding. They had a martial arts area, so that was everything from kickboxing. There was a section where they were doing some sort of karate.
Yeah, I know
display.
the acronym is WAKA. So WAKA
World.
or WAKO.
Yeah.
World Amateur Kickboxing Association. I can't remember. Anyway, they had some of that. Yeah.
CrossFit, who organised that?
Graft were the organizer. Well, they were the people that built it.
Yeah.
But it was on the Arnold Fitness Games.
Yeah, and then Strongman or Amateur Strongman.
Cerberus.
Yeah.
Cerberus Strongman.
I've got a newfound love for their gear.
Yeah, and obviously the Expo.
Yeah.
Which, before we get into what we got up to, is one of the things that I wanted to sort of, I say address. When we came back, the amount of people that were complaining about the Expo really was getting on my nerves a little bit. Because I've been to the Arnolds before, and there have been more stalls. There have been more like independent or smaller brands there, and there weren't this time. There was still a lot of stalls, and the Panata kit section, and Arnold's own protein powders. Grenade was there. You know, there were some massive names there.
Yeah.
Optimum Nutrition, Applied Nutrition, all sorts. Alpha Neon. Everybody was there, but it still wasn't enough for people, and it was essentially a free for all of freebies in the sense of queuing. People were queuing for hours to get samples, free sample packets, and then doing their Instagram hauls of hundreds and hundreds of sachets of free things, and then complaining that there weren't enough stalls to shop at. And I do wonder whether these people spent any money there or not.
No, they were just there for the free gear.
Yeah,
it was just insane.
For me, I think the diversity in sport was probably more important because there was powerlifting there as well, and we didn't really get down to the powerlifting because it was all the way at the other end of this. Like, it took up 12 halls. It was all the way at the other end of the hall near the Arnold statue, where they had the powerlifting. And so for me, the demonstration of sport was more important than how many stalls you had. And actually the queues for people just wanting to try a shot of pre-workout was annoying. I just felt very small and very short for the weekend.
Yeah.
Because there were lots of very big and very tall men. I remember at one point sort of having to put you in front and be like, you're just going to have to... You're going to have to... Yeah, you're going to have to make room for me to get through here because it was rammed. It really was. But it was also pretty incredible in the sense of Ronnie Coleman was there, Wesley Vissers, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jay Cutler, you know, massive names. Just wandering around as well. Mm-hmm. You know, not particularly precious. Arnold came up to a couple of the stalls, didn't he? And had a wander around. He was giving out free samples of his own creatine, which was just a bit weird in its own right. But yeah, we had a great time.
Yeah, and certainly I spent quite a bit of time when the amateur strongman and women part taking pictures. Saw Terry Hollands was there, and so yeah, Thor was on
Thor
stage.
Was there, and
Thor and Mitch Hooper.
Which
was interesting. Because of course they're at the other thing, doing a deadlift off.
We're not naming it because we don't want to give it any more media than it deserves.
Yeah.
If you listen to this podcast, you should know how we feel about pets.
That thing.
Yeah. So, yeah.
But yeah, and then also really fortunate. I mean, you couldn't really miss him.
No.
Because he was dressed all in pink.
Neon
SPD
pink, not just pink.
Paul Smith walked past from Strongman, and so I saw him, and he was leaning against the barrier, which I don't know how the barrier held him up. And so I thought, right, this is my chance. I'm going to go over and fanboy him, and had a quick word with him. Managed to introduce him to Shemek and you and the stall, and we had a good chat, and managed to get him to try a pair on. And he was, he's apparently he'd been umming and ahhing about shifting because his ROM 2s were falling apart. He said he's fed up of patching them back up.
Yeah, and he walked away in a pair of gold ones, didn't he?
Yeah, he tried them on, and he made a space out in the area, and started doing some jerks and some squats, and everyone just was like, "What the hell is he doing?"
Yeah, because I think what Aaron means by the area is the middle of the Arnolds, outside of the stall, in the middle of what was a walkway, was Paul Smith doing jerks to test out the shoes. But I feel the same way about Rebecca, the strong woman. She came over just by chance. We didn't go hunting her down. I had seen her walk by and had given her a sort of hello wave, because I say we've met her. We semi-met her at the Arnolds. But in the similar way I was just talking about the talent ID lot, I always have to think athletes are not going to remember you. I remember them because it's a big deal to me, but is Lucy Underwood going to remember that we spoke? Probably not. If I stood in front of her, she's probably not going to remember me compared to the 400 media people she speaks to. Is Rebecca, are any of these people really going to remember me unless it's more than that one conversation? So I'd sort of given her a hello and said to you, "Oh my God," as she'd walked by, and then she came back a bit later, and you were talking to her, weren't you, and getting her some shoes out, and I didn't even know she was there. And I came from the back of the stall and walked around and was just a bit starstruck. And she was trying on the gold XT Motions, which I have for the gym. And again, they look much like the gold lifters. They look really bright and garish, and you look at them and you think, oh, you're going to look a knob in the gym in those. And I still now, when I pack them, think I'm going to look a knob. But you just don't. Like, they look great. They go. I mean, I wear a lot of black, but they just go well with whatever I've got. They're so stable. They're so good. And she tried them on, and I said to her, "Look, it's going to make my day if me and you are training in the same shoes." And I'd like to think that's why she bought them, because she saw went, "Oh, go on then."
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that just to have people like that randomly coming up to the stall, I think people really miss the point of the Arnolds when they've moaned about it, because it's sport coming together. And I think weightlifting misses out by not having a spot there.
Yeah, it was interesting because we saw Claire from BWL.
Yes.
Ash was competing in the CrossFit stuff.
She did a rope climb, legless rope climbs. Yeah. First time, Ash. Well done.
Yeah. And I think Claire straight away was like, actually, next year we need to get down here.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting if they not only just get down there with a stall, but maybe try and do an open or something.
Yeah.
That would be quite cool.
I think the only thing that would stop it is the fact that they were selling things they shouldn't have been selling in the middle of the Arnolds, because obviously if you have any kind of regulated weightlifting competition, you're bound by UCAD. And if somebody's selling stacks of SARMs in the middle of the Arnolds, which they were, because it's not illegal, but they are banned, would you be able to have a competition? Yeah,
it sends a very mixed message, doesn't it?
Yeah. To me, that's for the Arnolds to deal with. I'd rather get rid of the SARM stall and have weightlifting there. I mean, that's a sensible thing. But yeah, for me, the difference in sports and everybody being there all together. I mean, we saw quite a few people. We saw Ange, she's also a weightlifter, CrossFitter, from our old gym. She was competing, and Andrew from our old gym was competing. Epsom, There was a couple of them from CrossFit Epsom there on the Masters Day as well. We saw Emily. She was training on, I think she was on the first day, so she must have been in the groups. We've just shared a photo of her. Yeah. She must have been in the team day rather than the individuals day. But yeah, it was just a really nice environment. It's very loud, but I say that about everywhere.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. And we got lanyards.
We did get lanyards.
Yeah.
Proper
I
media
wanted
pass
a media
lanyards.
lanyard for so long. And so many places just give you a bloody wristband.
Yeah.
That now I finally have.
The paper ones.
I have an
This is for the whole
actual-
weekend.
Yeah. I have
Great.
an actual media lanyard after all those applications and all those places we've been.
Yeah.
But that is probably something we should touch on, is that the media portfolio has somewhat expanded. So we aren't just randomly taking pictures at competitions now, but we are covering competitions, less so platform side competitions. I mean, we will happily set up a static camera to film lifts if a tier 3 competition doesn't have a photographer, but we've done a lot more photography. So we've done photography with MEM.
Yep.
We've done some photography at Europa. We've done a little bit in lots of different places, haven't we? MEM. And also done some competition setups. So we worked with Europa and did
Yeah.
or supported their youth competition, which was a lot of fun with Jordan and Andy.
Yeah, that's coming up soon as well.
We've got another one with them, and we're going to go and do the same at ADV.
Yep, up in Henley.
Yes, yeah. So that's just supporting with the competition basically, owl system and setup, and then any media as well. So everything just sort of got a bit big, a bit quick.
Yeah, overwhelming.
Yeah, I think after Rogues things went up a notch, didn't it? And it became a little bit less hobby and a little bit more professional. But we also have professional lives. Like weightlifting is not our careers. So balancing life with weightlifting and then all the new things we tried when we were having a little bit of a break from weightlifting was a lot.
Opened a lot of doors, hasn't it? There's other stuff that we'll be doing. So hopefully we're doing a bit more of gym introduction type videos.
Yep.
So introducing
Gym content. Yeah.
Coaches.
Yeah.
Gym space, that sort of stuff.
Yep.
Hence the drone.
Hence the drone.
I'm trying to work it out.
Good luck to you to figuring out with the drone, but still keeping with the podcast. So we've got the next guest is Christian McPhee. So
who really excited about.
Absolutely,
it's a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah.
And of course an insight into BWL whilst he was working there as a coach.
Yep.
Pathway, all his international travels, and he's got like an incredible mind for remembering, lifters, numbers, places. So he's one of those people you'll wind up and go.
He's going to be an interesting one for us to sit down with. I'm looking forward to getting some time with him. The podcast is still staying, as is our regular photography. Maybe a little bit less so at the big competitions. We'll see how that goes in terms of media passes with the British Championships and such like. But I mean, one of the other places that we've got lined up is Paddy Haynes, so another strongman event. I mean, strongman seems to be something we've really fallen into. So we also went to Britain's Strongest Man
up in Sheffield.
Met Eddie Hall. And
yes, you did, didn't you?
Yeah, met Eddie Hall. Watched some incredible strength.
Yeah.
And I won't ruin it for anybody who's waiting until Christmas, but it was pretty good. Yeah, I feel very privileged that we got to go there again under media. So we were lucky that the Giants Live team gifted us tickets, so props to them because they were really welcoming and really accommodating of us. They have an amazing in-house media team, so we applied for media passes, and their response was essentially that they have a media team, but they didn't want to discourage coverage of other strongman events, and so they gave us free tickets to come along. I think with the idea that we would be interested enough to do some of the smaller competitions, which I absolutely am. And from there, obviously, we're going to Paddy Haynes competition in May.
Yep.
I think that's in May as well.
Banbury. Yeah. So if you're sort of Oxford area, Banbury Rugby Football Club, that's where it'll be.
Yeah. If you fancy seeing some strong men, strong women,
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Then yeah, come along. It's nice to branch out.
Yep.
And honestly, I think seeing some of the other sports has probably made me more interested in my own training. You know, sometimes you hit a little bit of a dead stop, and you have to see other people doing amazing things to make you realise that you do love what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Indeed.
I still see the strong women and think, I want to do that. I can't, but I still watch it and think I want to give it a go.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, the sandbag toss. That would be great.
yeah. Yeah. And the yoke carry. And I reckon I could do the Atlas stones. But you know when you overestimate?
Yes.
I'm overestimating.
200 kilo Atlas stones.
No,
Go
not
for it.
200 kilo. Like, come on, let me start off with sandbags.
All right.
Cerberus do sandbags.
Yeah.
You just fill it with however much sand you fancy.
Okay.
So you just start with 5s. I think I'd be all right. But yeah. So yes, lots of different sports.
Yeah.
And you learn how to take some photos of very, very fast kickboxing.
Yeah. Yeah, that was quite tricky. So obviously, I mean, weightlifters move fast, but they're quite static. They're in one place.
Yeah, you know when to take the picture, don't you?
Yeah, but with kickboxers, they're insanely quick. Yeah, so trying to track them around was difficult. So
Yeah, we learnt a lot though.
Yeah.
So we're glad to be back.
Yep. So our next thing, really, other than Christian's podcast, after that would be the British.
Yep.
Which we're I say we're really looking forward to. We're partly looking forward to in both ways. So one for technical official duties, so we'll be TOing there.
Please put me on the Marshall station.
2, because we'll do just a bit of media, take some pictures and stuff like that.
If we get the media passes.
If we get the media passes. And then 3, because some fool decided to enter his compulsory 1 comp a year and is lifting as well. So...
Yeah, because why would we just do 1 job when we could do 3? But I'm going to add a 4th thing. Because my 4th thing, aside from coaching you, is that Team USA Juniors are going to be there. Which I've just banged on for 20 minutes about the talent ID and, you know, tracking athletes. Hampton Morris, Olivia Reeves, they all came through that junior squad. The next group of athletes for the US are going to be in that group that come over here.
Yeah, without a doubt.
And I think we need to be talking about that a hell of a lot more.
Yep.
You could be sat in Telford watching a future Olympian from Britain and a future Olympian from the US on the same stage, potentially looking at their future rivals. And you can do that for whatever it is BWL charges, 15 quid if you're a spectator. I don't know what it is, but I know I'd be paying it if I wasn't going to be able to get in because I was TOing, essentially working for free. So that's pretty epic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be a real eye-opener to seeing that sort of talent coming through and seeing what the other teams are doing. So certainly from the USA point.
Yeah, I want to be in the back room just to see the coaches.
Yeah.
I want to see how the coaches coach in the back room.
Yeah.
Because I learned so much from the back room and the way the coaches handle their athletes, and there's a massive difference between coaching and coaching at competition. And you can tell when a coach is inexperienced at competition, and the US lot obviously are not going to be. No. But I want to see how they're different to our elite coach, because to me there's like a level of coaching, and we have elite coaches, and then you have coaches, it's same as athletes, and these are their elite coaches. So how do their elite coaches compare to our elite coaches, and what can I learn from them? Because I think it's just going to be incredible.
Yep.
So excited for that, excited for Christian, excited to be back.
Yeah.
On
that note.
Yeah, I was say we'll sign off and leave you with the idea that you're going to have to listen to us once a month for a little while. But we will have more guests, so it's not just us rambling.
Yeah.
But yeah, I reckon that probably do. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you for your time.
See you soon.
See you next time.
You've been listening to The Bar with your hosts, Jess Roebuck-Slaney and Aaron Holt. Please be sure to like, subscribe and follow so you don't miss out on the next episode. And check out our website where you can shop for To The Bar and Lu Xiaozhen merchandise, as well as information on our professional services. To The Bar is proud to be partnered with Lu Xiaozhen UK. Thanks again, and we'll see you soon.